In 1972, a group of local lawyers and judges joined together to start a community law school in Monterey County. They saw local residents who were qualified and wanted to become lawyers, but couldn't leave their jobs and families to attend law schools in the Bay Area or Southern California. They saw law firms in need of lawyers who understood the local issues and politics. They saw a community in need of highly educated and dedicated people who wanted to make their world a better place. 50 years later, Monterey College of Law is stronger than ever.
Monterey College of Law was never conceptualized to be only a law school. So we had three different portions of it that we all felt were critical. One was creating a top-rate law school, but equally important to all of the people that were there to help create the law school was giving back to the community. And the third arm of it was to create clinics and service-type organizations so that the students and the professors could help people in the community. The concept was to try to form a law school down here that could serve the Tri-County area and give people who couldn't afford to go out of town, people who couldn't leave their families, had to go to school at night, to give them an opportunity to go to law school.
This was a new concept for the community of Monterey and the Monterey Peninsula. These were men and women who had families, and so we were cognizant of that. There was a real acknowledgement of that and trying to assist them as they had full lives with their families, with their jobs, and now they were going to take on 2 and 3 nights a week of law studies. It was an enormous undertaking.
The founders of this law school had that same vision. Let's create a safe place for anyone who wants to go to law school. There are minimum requirements, we have standards, but we're flexible on those standards. And we offer opportunities for diverse students with diverse interests, any age. I mean, I've taught classes where we had 70-year-olds and 22-year-olds in the same class working together. We've had students where we have police officers, and we've had, very, very progressive political activists in the same classroom, because our community is diverse.
What we found were there were a tremendous number of people in Monterey County, highly skilled, highly educated, who were interested in becoming a lawyer, who hadn't even tried because there really wasn't a viable option.
There are many students that come to Monterey College of Law that this is really what we call first generation. Many of them are the first generation to go to college, let alone the first generation to get a graduate degree. And so many of them are bilingual, bicultural, and so that's great for the community to give the community this opportunity, but many times they will go back out into the community as law students working in these myriad of clinical programs we have.
I think that students from Monterey College of Law are helping shape a new vision of what it means to be a lawyer and how you provide legal services in a way that is sustaining and sustained.
That's something we were excited about when we first started because there were very few women lawyers. And Monterey College of Law was about half women students. That's very unusual. There were no law schools that were half female in those days.
And that was the idea that we had to create a local law school that would serve our community and maybe, if we're lucky, inspire some of our students to do the public service work that it shaped our young careers. And we graduated over the years some very distinguished lawyers.
Judge Drummond was wielded a certain amount of power because he'd been around for a long time, had a great reputation. Dick Borelli was a high school friend of mine and came down here from Berkeley to work in the public defender's office. And so he was ready for a change too. Leon had just come out. He was ready for a change. He came out private practice. Charlie was just a great kind of representative of the establishment. Charlie was kind of the get-it-done guy. And he always had a great relationship with younger members of the bar. Brian had a great intellect, a very good lawyer, outstanding lawyer. He was working as a property lawyer that time at Nolan Hammerly in Salinas. And so you're looking around for somebody in our generation that you think might have the capacity to teach. Brian was kind of a natural.
Just take a look at where you have successful Monterey College of Law graduates. You have them in judgeships, you have them in political office, you have them in roles in the community in terms of nonprofits, supporting nonprofits, and really having a meaningful presence in the life of the community.
The thing about Monterey College of Law that is so unique is that it doesn't excise or separate out the training of lawyers from the education of the community. That the fabric of the law affects all of our lives. And so that we as a law school have a commitment to opening the community up to information.
We started, I think, from the very beginning, offering programs to the general public. And I think the evidence of that was, it started with something called Law for the Citizen, which was a lengthy program that went into different areas of law that the general public were likely to encounter, whether it was real estate or criminal law or family law. It was something that most people encounter sometime in their lives.
So when that stopped, I wanted to do something where we would take fifth graders to the courthouse, but I didn't want them just to walk the halls and see the names on the doors. I wanted to have a trial. So I wrote a script called The People versus Danny Defendant. The students had a script, so we had the defendant, the victim, the witnesses, the prosecuting attorney, the defense attorney, the judge was played by one of the fifth graders, and they all had a script. 12 of the students sat as the jury, and they would have to deliberate out loud in front of everybody and come to a verdict if they were able to do so.
We put our heads together and came up with this idea of the Heisler Moot Court that would not just be for students, but would be to present constitutional Bill of Rights issues to the public and to engage the public in those important questions. So I think that's another impact that's not to be underestimated. And of course now it's spread throughout all the campuses at Monterey College of Law.
What we did with the Heisler program that no other law school in the country has developed is to create a program where the community is involved in the sense that all of the oral arguments, the final arguments, we hold those in public. We invite the community to come and to watch how lawyers argue, what the skill set is to argue in an appellate court or a Supreme Court. And we've been incredibly lucky over the years to have very distinguished justices and judges come and sit at our small law school. I mean, it's pretty amazing. We've had, I think 3 California Supreme Court justices sit, federal district court judges, many judges from the courts of appeal across the state. They're intrigued with this idea of holding arguments in public. And so what happens is the community sees what the challenge is for constitutional lawyers, what the challenge is for judges, how hard decisions are made in our society, and they become educated in the legal process.
The comment, oh, he got off on a technicality, or oh, that's an outrageous sum of money for hot coffee spilled in your lap, come only, I think, from people not understanding how the system works.
I had a small part in the development of the Mandel Gisnet Center, which is now an integral part of the law school in terms of community programs, assisting people in small claims and a number of different areas. we started this conversation, and it led to the Mandels essentially bequesting a large part of their estate to develop a community legal service program.
Then, when the Mandel Gazette Center came on, there was the opportunity to do something much more than train lawyers. But the Mandel Gazette Center offered a whole new opportunity for good. Mandel Center could be the place which is a clearinghouse for cases. There could be a free ride for everybody, and including lawyers who wanted to get their case settled freely.
In addition to the curriculum for students, it has created very dynamic and sought-after training programs, both for the legal community, for lawyers to become better trained and even certified in mediation, but also we've run programs open to the general public, to people that don't have a law degree, who aren't lawyers, but who are interested in the field of alternative dispute resolution.
We finally devised a court-directed mediation program that today has served with a panel of volunteer lawyers a continuing contribution to the community. And I have to say that, looking back, all of the achievements of the school since the very beginning to now, where it is now an institution that is regularly used by our courts, was one of the most important contributions of the community, of which, I gotta say, I'm the most proud.
Their whole goal for the Monterey College of Law was to be a community-based law school, where the people, largely the ones who live here already, would become lawyers and stay for the benefit of the community. Our clinical studies program, I think, has been exemplary and has been a tremendous advantage by getting the students not only in the small claims advisory clinic and the other clinical programs, but we are able to send students into legal services for seniors, CLRA, California Rural Legal Assistance, and other programs.
There's a small claims clinic at the law school that students volunteer or participate in and give people help in preparing their small claims cases. And there are also students who act as mediators for small claims and for sometimes on the civil harassment calendar. And there are people in the community getting helped in that way too from the clinics. I know there are guardianship clinics where people are helped with their guardianship papers and how to prepare for their hearings. There's just a whole host of that kind of clinic. The students are learning a lot about the practice. They're learning a lot about engaging with people as clients, and they're learning, and the clients themselves, the people themselves, are being helped.
When I first came, we had a small claims clinic. We've grown from that one clinic to where we now have 14 different clinics being offered to the community, most at no cost or at a very nominal cost to cover document preparation. And we now can help individuals in areas such as family law, elder law, immigration, conservatorship, guardianship.
We live in this wonderful community, and many people don't know the gem that is the Monterey College of Law. And so to understand this benefit, this option that people have to either get free help through the many clinics that we have, to allow people to further their education and move to the next level of their careers.
To the extent that we can train people who are capable and interested in providing low-cost service to people who are involved in simple legal conflicts that are so affecting their lives, I think we're doing a great service. So yes, the public education programs that we started are wonderful.
What we've been able to accomplish is continue the Opportunity Law School mission by having more diversity in both in our staff, faculty, and students. That's been a mission from the very beginning. But really in the last few years we've seen, like the state of California, our student body is a majority-minority student body. over 50% of our students are students of color. Well, over 50% of our community are residents of color, which means that we are doing a good job of matching the needs of our community to our educational population.
Well, when I think of the numbers of students who have been through Monterey College of Law and who have been influenced by Monterey College of Law and graduated and offered service back to the community through nonprofit boards and through community service and volunteer work and pro bono work, it's a phenomenal amount of community service that Monterey College of Law has done. When we first started, we knew it was a community law school. We knew it was professors that were actually working in the community. Leon Panetta was just a practicing lawyer like everybody else. Richard Silver was just a lawyer, not yet a judge. And it was a very exciting time. And when I think of the amount of good work that has come out of the law school through all those students over all those years, it's really pretty astounding.
Because of the culture at Monterey College of Law, and because it started as an opportunity law school and is still an opportunity law school, it's breaking down some class distinctions that I think really would be a bar to a lot of people going to law school and successfully completing law school. And I don't think that you can say that about every law school. There are not many you can say that about, but I think you can say that about Monterey College of Law.
We need more lawyers who are willing to help ordinary people with their legal needs, and there's a shortage of that. So there's a glut of lawyers in a certain market and a shortage where the real needs exist.
And to teaching in a very, I think, heartfelt way, involving professors that are local practitioners, and it's a very unique form of legal education, much, I think, more effective than some of the very academic training I got in my own legal training. I think it's been fabulous, and I am so proud that it's strong and continues to thrive.
One of the most important aspects of legal education is that it addresses the inequity and the needs in our communities. It provides people within the community who can help those who cannot help themselves, who either don't have the information, don't have the resources, don't have access to the justice system, all of which is very complicated and sometimes can be very expensive. A community law school, whether it's in Monterey or San Luis Obispo or Bakersfield or Santa Rosa, provides the opportunity to go right to the heart of that issue. And it addresses some of the most fundamental rights that we have as community members. The lawyers we train to go back into their community and serve deal with the most fundamental issues of humanity.
As I said earlier, our greatest enemy is apathy. And the more that people understand the dynamics of the issues that we face and recognize the importance of institutions like the law school in helping us to do that, the better off our community will be and our world will be.